Si tu ouvrais les yeux juste pour voir un peu devant toi, le ciel orange et bleu, la lumière à travers les lilas.
Team Sport Beach, please welcome your hosts for our second day of Cannes. 72 and Sunny's Global Chief Growth Officer, Damien Journey, and multi-platform Emmy Award-winning host, correspondent, producer, and marketing consultant, Ben Lyons.
Hello. How's everybody feeling?
Welcome, everybody, to Sport Beach. Are you happy to be here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of you guys on the left didn't say that very loud. Are you happy to be here? It's beautiful. The weather is great. You guys look beautiful, and we're so happy to have you.
Now, Damien, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I want to name drop some of the athletes who are going to grace the stage here at Sport Beach 2023.
Oh, it's a
we
lot
have
of
an
them.
all-star lineup. Annika So, Julian Edelman, Big Game James Worthy, Saquon Barkley, Matt Liner, Channing Frye, once a Nick, always a Nick, Vanita Crouch, DK Metcalf, Kelvin Beecham, Paul Rabel, and Ali Wagner. Those are just the athletes who we'll be hearing from over the next few hours.
And that's just the next few hours. There's more to come even after that. So listen, everybody. In addition to having world-class athletes here, we also have world-class game-changing marketers from places you might have heard of, places like the National Football League, places like Snap, places like SiriusXM, United Airlines, Mass Mutual, and many, many more. So I'm sure you all have phones because you guys are technologically advanced. Pull them out if you want at some point in time. And please feel free to follow along. Follow us on LinkedIn and at Twitter at Stagwell and on Instagram at Stagwell Global.
All right, enough of the housekeeping. Let's get to the show, shall we? We've got our first one-on-one today. We'd like to welcome to the stage one of the greatest golfers ever. I think she helped shave a few strokes off my handicap earlier with some putting lessons. Annika So, and you might have had a chance to do some putting yourself this morning. Anybody else get on the greens a little bit?
Yeah, man, my game is better because of her already.
Take that back to the to the States. Annika will be speaking with Christine Fruechte, who's the CEO of Colle McVoy. So please welcome Christine and Annika to the Sport Beach stage.
Give them some love.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. As Damien said, how are we doing today? Excellent. Okay. Raise your hand if you had a putting lesson. Okay, that was awesome. That was incredible. You had some actual athletes out there, I think, today.
I know, yeah. I saw a lot of potential.
Lots of potential.
Yeah, and maybe some should stick to their day jobs, but that's okay.
I don't know. I think James Worthy, he did pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Yeah, when we kind of translated to, how to shoot.
Yeah.
He found the rhythm, and he was making them.
Yeah, nice moves. We'll be hearing from him later, but I have the great fortune, as of all of you, to be speaking with a widely regarded woman, as I say probably one of the greatest golfers of our lifetime. She's won 97 tournaments in her professional career, including 10 majors.
Thank you.
An inductee in the World Golf Hall of Fame. And in 2003, she became the first woman to play in the PGA Tour in nearly 60 years.
Thank you.
She is the only woman to ever record a 59 in a single round of a competition. And in just a few weeks, she'll tee it up again at the majors at Pebble Beach. Pretty fun. So, and of course, I'm honored to speak with someone who I think is someone that has taught many of us in this audience many, many lessons. And hopefully today you'll walk away with a few more. So I'm also excited to have Annika's family here today. And I see Mike in the back. And in 2007, you and Mike founded the Annika Foundation, which develops and empowers the next generation of women around the world through the game of golf. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, great to be here. Thank everybody for showing up. This is quite an incredible place. So when I, when my career was starting to wind down, I knew I wanted to do something to get back to the game. I wanted to say thank you. I wanted to help other young girls around the world to pursue their dream. And, talked about what can I do, and I thought, well, why not just create some junior golf tournaments around the world, because I can relate to that, right, a little bit. So yeah, we started the Annika Foundation in 2007, and now we have 7 global tournaments. We go from Asia to New Zealand to South America to the U.S. and to Europe. As a matter of fact, we just came from Sweden, where we hosted our 11th Annika Invitational. And we try to provide playing opportunities for the next generation of young players, ages 12 to 18. We have college coaches out there to come and recruit and bring them more opportunities. And it's been super, super fun and inspiring for me as well. I share some stories and share my passion and share some knowledge about the game. And hopefully these young girls keep working hard on the game and they can pursue something within the game of golf. It's not necessarily, professional career maybe, but there's so many other things in the game of golf. And it's been great to have that global perspective on it. We had 16 different countries there, and women's and girls golf is growing all around the world, so it's been fun to be part of that.
How are you feeling about the direction golf is headed?
Oh, it's going in a lot of directions, right? I mean, I think golf right now is in the news a lot. I focus more on the women's golf and the girls' golf, and I can tell you in the U.S. especially, we're seeing a growth of junior golf, especially the girls' perspective. About 15 years ago, we had 17% of all the juniors were girls. Today, we're looking at 34 to 35%, so it's doubled in 15.
Great progress.
Yeah, I think that's progress, but we can keep going, right? It's a game for everybody. I think it's a game that you can play all your life. I don't know, how many golfers do we have here? All right. You would agree that you can play all your life? Maybe the score will not be the same, but we can play, we can interact with others, and that's really what we try to do. We try to provide playing opportunities for these young players and fulfill the dream, kind of like what I'm living.
So what's been that catalyst, do you think? Why has it changed? Obviously, we have the Annika Foundation inspiring a lot of people around the world, but the stats that you just mentioned, why do you think more women are playing golf?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, first of all, you need to have places to go and places to play. I think, if you look at just starting golf has become a little bit more cool nowadays. You look at young athletes picking golf as a sport. I think having role models is important. I think the awareness of women's golf is important. Opportunities, like I mentioned, whether it's tournament or sponsorships or just exposure on TV. And this is a group of marketers here. You know what it takes. To build something, you got to give them the platform to be shown and to be heard. And I think we're seeing that with a lot of young girls. It takes time, it takes initiatives, it takes commitment, and you keep on working. You can't just come up with a commitment and then think it's going to help. You need to, it's like you plant the seed and then you give it water and you give it air, you give it sun, and then eventually it grows and you see the product. And I think we're starting to see the product of all the initiatives that's been out there, and now we're seeing these young girls come out there. And, I think social media has really helped many of these young girls to be seen and be heard, to kind of tell their own stories. And if you look at the LPGA, there's a lot of superstars out there, and you can see what they do outside the golf course and not just like on the course, like who they are, what do they stand for, what are the charities they're involved with, and it makes it fun. You get to know them a little bit more. I think that's interesting.
What does it feel like to have some of the Annika Foundation alumni, rising in the ranks?
Oh, it's to feel like you have a little part of somebody's success is a big deal. We put a lot of time and energy into these young girls, and Annika alumni is everything from, the Corda sisters to Maria Fassi to, I can just name a bunch that have done really, really well. And when you see them grow and mature and get better, it's a lot of fun. Makes you want to do more. I think that's really what these young girls need. It's just a little kick, a little support and opportunities, and then they bring other people into the game.
So 5 years from now, what is the world of golf going to look like for women? Or what is your hope and dreams? What can this audience help make happen?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm sure if you watch the news lately, there's a lot of talk going on in golf and, new people getting into the golf. But from a women's perspective, if I was commissioner for a day, obviously I would love to see LPGA tournaments all over the world every single day, right? Purses that could increase and just more opportunities. But it's going to take time. But yeah, I think we're in the right direction. But this is just the beginning. But we can continue as here is just talk about it, be positive about it, and giving them the stories that they deserve to share and be included. And I think that's we're seeing it, but it can be done a lot more.
So again, you're incredibly busy playing golf, mentoring women around the world. And during COVID, I think that kind of put us all on pause, and we had to rethink what we were doing with our lives. And I understand that you and your husband like to cook food, mix drinks. And I think a new passion of yours was born.
Yeah, it's actually right here, everybody. We brought some products from the U.S. So if you guys want to try, it's a full flavor sparkling classic cocktails. We were mixing, like a lot of people were probably bored during COVID. Some of us were eating a little more and drinking a little bit more, and we decided to just kind of mix a few drinks. There was several drinks at the time, and there's still a lot on the market right now. But we felt that there was a void in a ready-to-go drink that had some flavors, but not too many calories and ingredients that you feel good about. My husband, Mike, over here, he has a lot of allergies, so he takes honey all day long, literally in the morning in his coffee and his tea. And so we said, well, why don't we just put some honey in our drinks? Maybe we can make a healthier drink. So here you have it. And I looked at him and said, why don't we start making these? And he said, sweetie, you're such a busy bee. We don't need more projects. So that's the name, Fizzy Beez, is sparkling classic cocktails. Only 140 calories. We have 4 classic cocktails, and it's been an interesting journey to go from the greens to now we're pollinating around the country. We're in 4 different states. You can find them at like a Kroger, Giant Eagle, Rayleigh's, Meyer. I'm not sure where you're based. We're not here in France yet, but we're serving them here. So please feel free to try, and I'd love to get your feedback. It's women-owned, and we give back to the bees. So to honey farmers and beekeepers. So it's been a fun little project.
Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit. All right, let's give her a round of applause for that. Because, again, not only inspiring women around the world, but how does she find time? And I'm just curious, golf. What lessons from golf have you applied to being an entrepreneur for this beverage?
Well, if you play golf, you know that one of the things you cannot have too much is patience, right? Patience, patience, patience. Being a mother, you need a lot of patience, too. So... but yeah, no, that's, hardworking like you guys are all doing, discipline, focused, perseverance. I mean, I can't think of, and I mean, I'm learning this in this industry, working to distributors around the world. It's like, wow, that takes patience and perseverance. I just think that, sport in general, and I love this Sport Beach concept. I think not just does it bring people together, but I think the things that you learn in sport, whether it's a team sport or individual sport, we use that in our daily lives. Anything we do. And when I was playing golf, I thought that's the only thing I can do. But once I stopped stepping away from the game, you realize that the skills that I learned on the golf course is really what I need in life. And it's been great in so many ways. And learning how to set goals and have a vision and be honest to yourself and waking up in the morning and have a passion for what you do. I think, life is too short to wake up and not do what you enjoy doing.
And you're applying all that to the foundation as well. So these young girls and women that go through that, a lot of the programs, learn those lessons.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the core of life, is having fun and feel like you have a purpose in life. And, I remember growing up in Sweden, a lot of my friends said, what do you really do, Annika? I said, I play golf. And they didn't think you can do that for a living, but you can do it for a living. And now I'm kind of taking it, to the 19th hole. So, yeah, there's a lot to do.
Well, and a lot of people probably ask you this, but obviously you've accomplished a lot in your life. I'm curious to know who inspires you, and then who are some of your mentors along the journey?
I've been lucky to be surrounded with some really good people. It starts, I think, at home with my parents, and I have a younger sister that's just been pushing me to do well in sports. And now is my husband right here, who's, he's very supportive and crazy ideas like Fizzy Beez, right? But, he says, I love you, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this project. But it's all about the people you surround yourself. And, but I would say that I look at people in any face of the world, whether it's sports or whether it's business or family, whatever, people that I meet, I look and learn and say, hey, that's something I can learn from, and that's something that maybe I shouldn't be doing. But I think the world is full of role models. Just pick the ones that you like. And I think the key really for yourself is to wake up in the morning and feel good about what you do and how you contribute to this world. And I like to be a little better every single day.
Yeah, and you're using your power for good. I love that. And the bees. So what do you hope happens here next year at Cannes in Sports Beach?
Well, first of all, this is my first visit, or our first visits. We have our kids here, Mike, Will, and Ava. I'm not sure where they are. Maybe they're playing some sport on the beach. But, I mean, I just think this is fantastic to meet all these people and you guys to network and connect and share ideas and listen to panels, learn from each other. I love the concept of the sport. So maybe next time you can, instead of putting green, maybe we should put a driving range out here.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
out
fun.
The water. I love that idea.
But, I'm just thankful for being here and appreciate, letting me share my story and hope to meet people with similar mindset and we can maybe work together.
Absolutely. So, again, get up, love what you do, be disciplined. What things in golf surprised you the longer you played it? Once you got into it, you got the rhythm, but as you advance, how did you evolve?
Yeah, well, it really is a tough game, and I think that's one of the things that attracted me to the game. It's like one day you think you have it, and the next day you wonder where it went, whether it's the tempo, whether it's your technique, or whether it's the golf course or the condition. It's ever-changing, and I think that's another thing that life is about. It's ever-changing. But I do think that golf is just, the more that I'm involved with it from the outside of playing, you realize how many people can really be part of it on so many aspects, of the game of golf. And so, but yeah, I think that the challenge and the difficulty is what gets me every single day.
So what advice do you have for young people, or even someone like myself? I didn't start golfing until I was in my late 20s, and my boss said, you got to take people out golfing. I mean, not everyone grows up to it. So what advice do you have for people at all ages about the sport?
Have fun. Be patient. Go out there. I mean, if you're thinking about playing, well, keep in mind, golf is not just 18 holes of golf. There's so much more to that. I'm sure many of you have seen the new, kind of the Top Golf type similar. They're really fun, right? I mean, that could be for people that just, but it's golf. It's another way to get involved in the game. I think that, playing, going to the range, hit some shots, learn the fundamentals, how to hold the club, how to set up, how to aim, just the basics, and then go out there with friends. I mean, you can play 9 holes. It doesn't have to be 18 holes. I think a lot of people get so caught up in how perfect you need to be, and it's hard if you don't have the time. I mean, I think the few things when people hear golf, first thing they say, oh, it takes too long, it's too expensive, and it's too difficult. Those are some of the things. And
Right.
I think those are things we have slowly worked away from, because Top Golf it doesn't have to be, 4 hours. The difficulty there, nobody really judges you. You just kind of hit different things, different targets. And then expensive part, I don't think it is. There's a lot of courses out there nowadays, so you can play with under, $20. And so compared to some of the other sports, I don't think that's an issue anymore. And keep in mind, this is something you can do with your family. I mean, the other day I was playing with my dad. My dad is 82. And now I'm 52, and our son is 12. The three of us, talk about 3 generations. I can't think of any other sport you can do that. I mean, I'm not going to go out there with, swim with somebody who's, or play basketball or football. I love the sports, but it's hard to do a 3 generation. I think golf is a sport that you can do that. And you have handicaps, so you can, really, it doesn't matter what your skill level is, you can still have a tough match.
Well, and to have that time together, I think that's the other thing people underestimate about golf. When you have 4 hours with people you care about or people you don't know and you get to know, I mean, it's really hard to do. We're all overprogrammed. We're always triple booked. And I also love that golf is becoming more accessible, like you said. There's Top Golf, so you don't have to invest in the clubs and 4 hours if you don't have it. So definitely evolving. So I'm curious, who do you have your eye on? Who do you think we're going to be seeing more of in women's golf?
Well, if you look at the leaderboards, I mean, it's always evolving. What I love about it, it's very international. Right now I'm trying to think of is number 1, but I think there's a player from South Korea, Annika So. She's just very, she's a terrific player. You got some U.S. players. I mean, everybody talks about Nelly Korda, which is fantastic. Lydia Ko from New Zealand. We have Brooke Henderson
Amazing.
from Canada. Obviously I want to push Brooke. I'm sorry? Oh, Rose Zhang is another one who just won in New York. Fantastic. Yeah, Rose Zhang. She went to Stanford, and we actually just gave her, the Annika Foundation, we give out an award every year, and presented by Stiefel to the best collegiate player. She's won it 2 years in a row, and she ended up winning the NCAAs 2 years in a row, and then she ended up winning her first LPGA tournament. So keep her eye on Rose Zhang. She's a fellow Callaway player as well. So I think it's just, there's so many out there, so many, favorites in different ways, and people can always find somebody they like.
So if these folks want to get more involved with the Annika Foundation, what should they do?
Well, come to me, come to my husband Mike over here, or come to Christine. It's theannikafoundation.org. We provide playing opportunities for young players around the world. You get involved with all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's not necessarily just, finding a golf course, but tournaments, exposure, sponsorships, awareness. We welcome support. This is not really a one-man show. It's a team effort, and we'd love to grow the game and help other young players fulfill their dreams.
Fantastic. Okay, final question. What can fans expect to see when you tee up at the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach in a few weeks?
Yeah, I'm curious too, actually.
What do you guys think?
What do you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, has anybody played Pebble Beach? Have you been there? You familiar with it in California? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those bucket list courses, right? I mean, it's pretty as over here. Probably it's going to be as windy as you see here. But it's great, first of all, for the women to play there. I think that's, a historic
Absolutely.
moment. And, yeah, I mean, we're heading back to the U.S. tomorrow, and I think the following day I'll be on the driving range. So I'm going to start beating some balls and practicing and finding that rhythm. I need to hit fairways and grease and be patient. The key to winning majors is the patience. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you got to just be patient, keep hitting one shot at a time, and go from there.
So how often do you practice?
I've been practicing quite a bit. This summer I've been a little busy, but our son Will is really into the game. So, I try to be out there 5 days a week, a few hours a day. Sometimes when I play, it takes a little longer. But, yeah, I try to squeeze in a few hours and trying to get my game in shape.
So even the great has to practice.
Yes, and it
Wow.
doesn't, sorry to say, but it doesn't get easier when you get a little older. That timing and the strength and, the accuracy. And it used to be so much easier than it is now. So, yeah, just keep on going.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, hopefully inspiring many of you in the audience. And Fizzy Bee is going to be sampled over at the bar, so anyone who wants to try it. You said you came up with these recipes, really, right?
Yeah, my husband I did, yeah. So just buying, grocery store ingredients and start mixing and then take it to the commercial level, yeah. So I know every little inch of this product. I don't know if you like Moscow Mule, but it's organic ginger juice, not the beer. And then we have a mojito. Normally it's rum. This is vodka. And we have a margarita somewhere. It's also vodka.
Don't forget
and this
the
is probably
Cosmo.
my favorite. Does anybody like Cosmos? Only 140
All right.
calories. Yeah. Oh, we got some drinkers in the crowd here. So thank you
Yeah.
for the support.
All right. Well, I think let's give it up for Annika.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here at
Thank
Sports
you.
Beach.
Thank you to you guys. Thanks for coming.
Fun.
Thank you, Annika. Thank you, Christine. That was a wonderful conversation.